Hey everyone, Todd here, internalarchitect.com. In this video, you will learn about some of the long-term effects that you will end up going through as a cancer survivor. And I have a list here of things, just some notes and whatever, that I'll probably keep hitting on, but I just wanted to bring up, I wanted to talk about this one. This has been on my mind a little bit lately because there, as cancer survivors, we end up going through a lot of things that a lot of feelings and a lot of emotions and a lot of physical questions that we have that will always kind of pop up, and we will always kind of wonder, what does that mean? What was that? I don't understand. There's a lot of things that there's a lot of different things that happen as a survivor that we, one, I guess, need to be a little bit aware of, just because of the experience. We don't want to have to go through it again, so it's important to kind of to understand that you're not alone with these different items. I have a list of about, I don't know, 8 or 10 or something like that in here that I just wanted to kind of talk about, because I think it's really important to help you understand that these different things are unfortunately kind of normal. Fortunately and unfortunately kind of normal for us that have gone through cancer and are survivors. So the first one is, I really think it's important to hit on fatigue. Fatigue is really an interesting one because we get so used to, after cancer, we're kind of getting back to work, we're doing our thing and whatever, and we start to kind of feel kind of run down and stuff as we're getting back, and a lot of it has to do with endurance, and that our bodies just went through absolute hell. So whether you are pretty active or whether you are not, trying to start getting into a lifestyle of movement and whatever will start to help kind of battle the fatigue side of things. It's really easy to become complacent in our little worlds and forget that being physical and moving, just being able to move all the time, will help us down the road and keeping us kind of moving and doing good things, right? And the fatigue side of it really can come down to understanding your body. I know for myself, as I really learned a lot what fatigue really meant, especially after all the treatment and I was in remission and able to look back at the year before I was diagnosed and understood what fatigue really meant. And to be able to take that experience and understand what it is now, how I can apply it now, really helps keep me kind of focused in the possibility of ever having a reoccurrence, because I don't want to have to feel like that again. So so what you can do is to keep a very close eye on how you're feeling. If you're feeling really run down if you have a really physical working environment where you're say you're moving a lot of heavy boxes, or you're doing a lot of you're very active, and if you're just tired at the end of the day, it might have to do with you just had a lot of work. But if you have a little bit more of a sedentary type of life's work environment, where it's more of a desk job and more computer stuff, and then you just are feeling really down, it might be worth just keeping an eye on if you are just really, really tired and down, and if you're not sleeping well at night, and just kind of take that into account with how you are feeling, because the fatigue is a good telltale sign that maybe something is going on again. If it continues to happen, is when you might want to get checked out with your primary care physician and talk a little bit more to them about why you're feeling tired and why you're feeling fatigued all the time. For myself, I really spend a lot of time in my free time is just trying to do something really physical and really get my heart rate up and do something kind of fun. Today, for example, I ended up doing a little bit of winter hiking. They call it split boarding, and hiking up the mountain and just getting kind of sweaty. Got a little bit cold at the top, but it wasn't too bad, and I actually feel really good. So I'm able to pay attention to that because I did something really physical and got my heart going and everything. So I feel pretty good. But it's a way to help me keep an eye on the fatigue side of what it was that I went through before my diagnosis. So I think that's a really big one. Other physical effects is, you got the fear of having a reoccurrence, right? My case, I had a reoccurrence while I was kind of in the middle of all my treatment, or towards the end of my first set of treatment, and the reoccurrence was something that kind of came about, just I think mostly due to my staging of my lymphoma, and we just the next steps were having to go through the stem cell transplant. But nonetheless, it was an effect that really, it was a tough one. It was a tough blow to kind of deal with, and having to understand the reoccurrence side of things, that it is a possibility, really is something that I keep my eye on, because I've already had one. And I've had a couple other acquaintances that have had a reoccurrence also and didn't make it. So I definitely keep a real close eye on the reoccurrence side of it, because it's one, it was a tough mental challenge to work through, and two, it was I've seen kind of how it can end, unfortunately. But at this point, things are good, so I don't think too much about it. There are dental and oral issues that you have to really be aware of. Going through all the treatment and everything, it really does a number on your teeth and your gums, and so making sure that you're taking care of your oral hygiene. I mean, while I was in the hospital, I was expected to brush my teeth a minimum of 5 times a day, and that was just so I wouldn't get sores and whatnot, acid blisters and stuff in my mouth during my treatment time while I was there. It just could cause more problems and whatever. So I'm not saying you need to brush your teeth 5 times a day, or if that's even going to be, but just be really aware of your sensitivity and of your oral hygiene, because it can actually cause other issues. I mean, look at me, I'm already missing a tooth, and that was pulled so that I could actually have or do all the treatment for the reoccurrence. So just to let you know that's definitely something that you have to be aware of, and you need to work on all the time. Some of these that I'm also going to talk about may not happen, but it is a possibility depending on the type of cancer you have. Diabetes is one, because all the chemotherapy really does a number on your body, and it does a number on your blood sugar and how your body kind of reacts and treats everything, whether it's food, all the sugars that we eat and consume, which is a huge part of it anymore these days, and being aware of all that. I ended up getting a blood glucose monitor after cancer, just to kind of keep an eye on it, and that was one of the big reasons why I really got into mountain biking, and just for the health benefits of just I love eating. I have a really nasty sweet tooth, and I don't necessarily want to quit all that stuff, as I have really just more toned it all down. I do a lot more cooking, so I know that the food that I'm eating and that I'm actually serving my family is actually really good and tasty. But I've really taken that step back from a lot of the sugars that we consume, and because of that, I've lost a lot of weight also with all the exercise that I'm able to do. So the diabetes is one to really look at close, especially if you don't live a very active lifestyle. Be aware of all the things that you eat. Be aware of the amount of sugar, especially. Okay, sugar is the biggest one that you consume. I think there's I forget exactly what it is, but there's a study that was done by how much sugar that we all consume in a year. They're saying it's gone up. It's up around 30 some pounds a year, which is, I mean, that's just an insane amount of sugar. And when you look at it that way, it kind of makes you think, wow, maybe I do need to kind of start cutting some of this stuff out. Not saying to cut it out completely, because that can kind of lead to other issues, because as we know, we need to have certain sugars in our life to have our bodies work. So down at the mitochondria level. So that's really an important thing. So keep in mind that, you know, diabetes is one of those long-term physical side effects that we deal with as cancer survivors, or we can. This one is a little bit new to me. I don't know too many people that have gone through it. And it kind of popped up because I've had some weird dreams about this and whatever. It's called incontinence. And that's where I believe that's how you pronounce it, incontinence. And that's where your body starts to lose control over its bladder and its sphincter also. And you have a tendency to pee and poo yourself. And that's just kind of how it goes, you know, due to not so probably much in the lymphoma side of things or breast cancer or lung cancer stuff, but there are, you know, colon cancers is where a big one, where it really is becoming a problem. Bladder cancers, there's, you know, anything that takes a lot of radiation into your groin area is where there could be some issues like that. I think it's important to again, be aware of all the stuff that you eat to help minimize that. And if it's happening, by all means, talk to your doctor about it, because you need to, I mean, one, yes, it's embarrassing, but two, it's just, you know, it'll start to eat at you over time of just, you know, having to take care of that issue, you know, multiple times a day, you know. So be on that and work on that, you know, just for your own peace of mind. The next one is neuropathy. That is where I didn't experience much neuropathy, a little bit of tingling and stuff, but that's where you have nerve damage caused by the chemotherapy and even radiation. I had a little bit in my hands. It's for the most part gone away. I don't have really any issues with it. Co-founder for Strap In for Life, my nonprofit I help co-found, Dave Tuck ended up having a lot of neuropathy in his feet, and just it was incredibly painful, and just the chemotherapy, the regimen that they had him on for his pancreatic was really aggressive, and it really did a number to his nerves in his feet and his hands, and it was really tough to see that. So if you feel like you're having some nerve issues and stuff, you know, definitely let your doctor know. Let him know or her know that there is, you know, you're having some weird feelings in your feet and your hands, and you know, it could in your arms, in your legs. It's all the above, just so that they're aware of some of these side effects that you might be dealing with. You know, with it comes some organ damage. You know, I mean, going through the amount of poison that gets put into us from all the chemotherapy and even radiation, our bodies just get nuked. You know, we are able to process. Our bodies are amazing, right? Like, we're able to process so much stuff, and you know, our livers, you know, fortunately, they are one of the fastest regenerating organs in our body, so they can take a pretty big hit. But over time, if you are taking a chemotherapy regimen that is just helping keep your cancer away, like I've a close acquaintance of mine, friend, Chris, is going through lung cancer, and he's on one of these regimens, and he goes in about once a month for a treatment just to kind of help keep his tumors at the same size. And he he hasn't had too many issues when it comes to organ damage, but because of the longevity of everything that he's doing, it could easily happen. So his oncologists and his primaries are keeping a close eye on him for any sort of organ damage that could possibly happen. Infertility is another one. This one's kind of hit me pretty hard. I'm unable to have children because of the chemotherapy that I had to go through for my stem cell transplant. It essentially not only nuked my immune system, but also nuked my ability to have kids. Fortunately, I have 2 stepdaughters that are absolutely amazing, so it's okay. I have come to terms with it, and I am all right with where things are at in my life with that. When I was going through treatment, just before I ended up going through my stem cell transplant, I was asked if I wanted to bank sperm, and I decided not to. One, it was incredibly expensive, and 2, I didn't really want to. I think at this point I didn't want to have to. This might sound a little odd. Have to have it for future reasons. I mean, I was given a second chance. I had 2 great stepdaughters in my life, and would it have been nice? Yeah. But the second biggest reason was just the financial aspect of keeping my sperm cryogenically frozen for me to use at maybe a future date. So there's some financial stigma that comes along with having that backup, I guess. It is a very huge possibility that for that you will just be infertile. For women that go through uterine cancer, hysterectomies are something that happen, and then they too are unable to have children. So that's a big issue for, I think, people when they are faced with that decision. I know I thought long and hard about it. I really did, and I chose to kind of go with not having sperm to have children in the future. So I'm all right with it, but some people aren't. Another one is pain. Pain is we all go through a lot of different pain, and after cancer, each little pain thing that we experience, except if we hurt ourselves doing something active, or we step off a curb wrong and roll our ankle, then it's like, is what it is. But when we have weird internal pains going on, like I'll occasionally get a little side ache or something, or I get a little gas, and it just kind of it reminds me of the beginning stages of my diagnosis. So I am always aware of all the little pains that are going on in my body, and I might be a little bit of a hypochondriac about it, but that's okay. I mean, you gotta kind of you have to have a little faith that it's not cancer, and 2, you just have to be really aware of what it is and just how long that pain might be lasting. So always something to keep an eye on. Pain is usually an indication that there is something a little bit bigger going on in within your body. So just, don't take it lightly, but don't have OCD over it either. Um, Learning and memory issues. This is oh my god, chemotherapy. I'm sure you've all experienced chemo brain. And man, I tell you what, I am a little over 8 years right now, and I still deal with memory issues. And it's weird because like some stuff I'll absolutely retain, and some stuff I just don't. It drives my wife batshit over it too, and I do my best. I really do. I actually work on games. There's on your iPad and tablets, you can get this awesome puzzle game called Luminosity, and I don't do it as much as I used to anymore, but Luminosity is a great kind of brain training tool and games to help you work on memory skills and cognitive functions, which is huge after going through cancer, because you really need some help when it comes to putting it all together. Remembering the things that are that you need to remember, and just overall memory practice. And I've gotten a lot better. I can't say it's perfect, but it has taken some time to really and consciously knowing that I am working on it on the daily. I really do my best, and of course my family knows, but I also have let my my employers know also that this is a big issue. I am very aware of it, and they are working with me on that too. So that's a huge thing also. And I think between all these, I think another one, the other one that kind of goes with it, with the infertility, is also just sexual dysfunction. For men, just having a hard time being able to get it up, I guess, so that they can actually enjoy it. And there's obviously there are some drugs out there that can help with that. But just having some dysfunction of not being able to to have that relationship and that closeness with your significant other is a huge issue. And when your relationships are at a low point because communication is down and you're feeling inadequate, and there's number of feelings and emotions that you go through when things aren't working right, then that it causes stress, which causes a lot of other things. So keep that in mind for you guys, and for you girls. Just it's the same thing. There's just gonna be times you're not gonna wanna do it, and you may not ever get excited, and there may not be a spark there with your significant other. So but as long as you're aware of it, and I found that, like, as long as you are aware of all the things, like I know that I'm having, for me, I'm okay, but like, there are times where I don't want to, and I can't, I just don't feel like trying at times, and it's okay. But there's a big difference between just like, I'm just too tired, it's been a long day, and then there's just like, I don't know what's going on down there, it's just nothing is working for me. So keep that in mind, and if there are some other things, again, talk to your doctor, talk to your oncologist about it, because these could be some of the physical side effects that go on after cancer due to the chemotherapy and the radiation and even the immunotherapy that you go through. It all goes hand in hand with it all. So I would say, with all these different things, just really learn about your body, learn about what it takes to keep yourself kind of moving, what it takes to start changing your current lifestyle into a better, healthier lifestyle. And I'm not saying to go out there and just eat all organic foods, or go vegan, or go keto, whatever it is. I'm saying do everything in moderation, but just start learning to become aware of it all. And as you become more aware, you can start slowly changing those bad habits. They say that habits take about 30 days to create and a lifetime to change. But the biggest thing is, once you learn about these habits, and not only just habits, but just kind of where you're at physically right now, will really make a big difference in everything that goes on in this list. I truly believe that, for about 90% of all these things on my list here, it can be worked out. You just gotta, one, want it enough, and two, have some discipline in changing yourself to take care of each one of these physical side effects that you are dealing with, especially after cancer. All right, that was a big one, guys. If you have any questions or comments, hit me in the comment section below. And if you like the video, give me a thumbs up, and just let me know, and I'll get back to you guys as soon as I can with any questions or comments that you find that you might have for this long-term side effects video today. I really appreciate your time and your energy into watching the videos. I can't thank you enough for that. And hope you have a great afternoon, and I will see you on the next video.